everyone. It's Stasha Erickson, and I hope you're all doing well today. It is February 22nd of 2017, and I am here today with another news episode for all of you. Now, this one is a continuation of the past episode or the past video that I just recorded, where we spoke about Obama's strange obsession with artificial intelligence. I could not, of course, leave out the most important player in this game, and that is Mr. Elon Musk. And I've mentioned him a few times on this channel before, especially when I'm referring to the robotic cars and autonomous driving of the future. But there's many, many, many more layers to this man known as Elon Musk. Now, before I continue with the little article that I wrote here, I just wanted to point out something that I noticed right away. When you look at Elon Musk's full name, his full name is Elon Reeve Musk. And so for all of you Mandela affected people out there, you know why that's funny, because Reeve and Reeves is one of the first name changes of the Mandela effect that people started noticing. When Christopher Reeves was no longer Christopher Reeves, he's now Christopher Reeve, and among many other things. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out really quick about Mr. Elon Reeve Musk. In general, he's a South African-born Canadian-American business guy. He's an inventor, an engineer, and he's also the founder and CEO of SpaceX, which I will get into in a little bit. And he's co-founder and CEO of Tesla Incorporated. He's also the co-founder and chairman of Solar City. I think that's some type of solar panel energy thing. And he's the co-chairman of OpenAI, which I will also get into a little bit later with in this video. OpenAI is something really crazy. And then he's also the founder of X.com, which merged with PayPal of Confinity. I don't like that name at all, Confinity. I mean, he literally owns PayPal and Tesla and SpaceX, and this guy is just a few years older than I am. It's crazy. So he was also ranked number 21 on the Forbes list of the top most powerful people in the world. He really basically says that with all of his companies, he is here to revolve his vision to change the world and humanity. His goals include reducing global warming through sustainable energy, that's the Solar City company, and production and consumption, and reducing the risk of human extinction. Yeah, that's the AI bit we'll get into. By making life multiplanetary, by setting up a human colony on Mars. Elon wants to move humans to Mars. So it goes on and on and on. He's done just everything under the sun. So who is this guy, and how come we've never heard about him until the past couple of years or so, but yet he owns all of these big companies? So I really wanted to do a little bit more research onto him because he's been popping up in the news a lot lately. Probably not on mainstream media, but for those of us that do a lot of research into science and NASA and all this other stuff, you know, you guys know exactly who he is. But he seemed to pop up out of nowhere and owns everything. So I wanted to do some more research into him until after I saw something called the Code Conference. And this was an interview that was done in 2016. And this is what we're going to discuss now today. I will leave you the link to the 1.5-hour video of the Code Conference, and you can see for yourself this monster that we already have on our hands. Now, the interview starts out with a very strange woman looking down at her feet saying, "I believe the message there is that we're effed." Effed. I will just say effed because my video the other day about the Mandela effect changes, I got really attacked by everybody for using a curse word, and I think I used one and then said excuse me right after that. And I was repeating the lyrics to a Panic at the Disco song. And so got really attacked for that. But what else is new? There's so many trolls here on YouTube. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, so she comes out and says, I believe the message there is we're effed. I'm not a scientist, but I think we're in trouble. A wonderful way to start out a conference, but you will see that this message she shouts our way isn't so far from the truth. Now, the beginning of the interview is all about Elon's SpaceX program. He goes into long interpretations and analogies about space and low orbit. I still am one of those who believe that not a single human being can leave Earth's low orbit due to the radiation belt. But he sure has a way with words in this interview here. He mentions that 1/4 of their missions are operated for NASA, and this is the SpaceX program. So we know who has yet another hidden hand in this game. He also mentions that SpaceX will be conducting launches every 2 to 4 weeks, and all missions are being lifted off from the same launch pad as previous Apollo missions. He then mentioned that this now makes us #1 in space exploration, even beating Russia and China. He even calls his rockets Dragon 1 and Dragon 2. So something is up with this guy. But what is this space race really all about? Then it all hit me around 19 minutes into the interview when he starts talking about going to Mars in 2018. The female interviewer asked him about his fascination to Mars, and he said, if I could choose a place to die, then Mars is probably not a bad choice. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. His whole analogy was, oh, it's pretty cool if you're born on Earth and you die on Mars. But, I mean, literally the woman even asked him, have you ever even been to space? And he said no, he's never even been to space, yet he's doing all these plans to set up colonies and cities on Mars. And he wants to die there, but he's never even been into space. So, you know, he knows something we don't know, if you know what I'm saying. Then he mentions that no human will actually join Dragon 2 when they do go to Mars for the first time, as it can take up to 6 months just to arrive to Mars. But then the other problem is, once it arrives to Mars, and this is Dragon 2 on its first mission to Mars, it will have no way of returning back to Earth. Okay, so what's the point? So the least we could say is this guy is not quite prepared for these missions as of yet. But we should also know that if they tell us something is 1 or 10 years away, then it's probably already happened. Now, the most frightening part is when he begins to explain why other humans should go to Mars. He wants to repopulate Mars and create a city for everyone there. He essentially wants to create Earth version 2.0. But the question is, who will be able to afford this? Would this end up being some kind of planet for elites? Or would people like you and I be able to join the party too? He said it can take up to 2024 before humans can fly to Mars, with their arrival date being 2025. So by the time they iron out the kinks and send Dragon 2 on his own, and they can finally get humans to go, it will take 1 entire year just to arrive to Mars. Now, I don't know about you, but I love planet Earth. And I just want to know why everyone is so willing to fly away to fix another planet when we have one right here that needs a lot of help. This is the place that we need to stay and fix. So here's an idea, Elon. Since you seem to hate being on Earth so much, why don't you use some of those billions of dollars to help people here on Earth and stop flying after your childhood dreams of walking on Mars? Especially when he hasn't even had enough courage to try to go up into space yet. And let's not forget that he is also the same man who has kick-started the autonomous driving revolution by taking over Tesla. and I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again, I can just see Tesla rolling around in his grave right now. They stole the technology from him, they took it from him, they took him out, and now it's in the hands of Elon Musk. So when did this happen? When did this takeover happen? He basically has explained to everybody in this interview that he plans to roll out 1 million cars per year by the year 2020. So if you think that you will have a chance of driving yourself around in the future, you may have to think again. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard about autonomous cars and self-driving cars and all this stuff, but I don't think people realize how quickly this is going to become a requirement for us as far as transportation goes. And basically, I think it was like a month ago, I made a video that I mentioned earlier, and it's called Robots Will Be Driving Your Car by 2016. The News You Need, Episode 3. So I'll put a little link here in this article for you guys to check out that episode where I go into great detail about the autonomous driving future that we have. And this was literally, they were saying 2016 we'd already be self-driving, and now we're here at 2017. So China have a big part in this, and well, just check out that other video. I'll leave the link for you guys, and you can understand how serious this really is. Human beings will not be able to drive their own cars anymore. There's not going to be a joyride up the California coast anymore. You won't be able to just say, hey, honey and the kids, let's pack up and go on a road trip. These robots will be driving us around. So just think about that. Now, later into the interview, around 44 minutes, this is when Elon begins speaking about AI and how he created a program called OpenAI, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Now, OpenAI and this intelligence has a real sense of urgency to democratize AI power. And this is what Elon's exact words were. And I thought to myself, what does this mean? And so he explained he wants us to create this open atmosphere where the many control the AI rather than the few. But wouldn't that just leave us open to more of an attack if we create artificial intelligence and all the people in the world have a say on which direction it goes? Or is it better if a few powerful people are behind the wheel of that AI? This is what Elon seems to be the most afraid of. He admitted that he was not afraid of robots, but he is afraid of the people who may end up controlling them. Then he mentions there is one company in particular that worries him the most, but he will not say who it is. He even at one stage explains that the most benign scenario of AI taking over would mean human beings would become nothing more than a pet to this AI. Oh, how comforting. And this is the benign scenario? I would hate to imagine what a dark future would look like then. So, this is pretty serious stuff, guys. This theme of who gets to the technology first seems to be repeating over and over again. It may seem exciting and innovative, but I cannot ignore the feelings that trigger my soul. And my soul tells me that artificial intelligence is wrong. It is yet another way for these scientists and moneymakers to act out their God complex. And what's uniquely ironic about all of this is that most of these scientists do not believe in God at all. They simply believe in science. But think about who created science. Who created your science? God. Think deeply about who created humanity. I do not believe that they have thought about this at all. I don't think they think about God at all. Perhaps the one entity that Elon is really so afraid of controlling the AI is God himself, as he may just put a stop to all of this. Remember Atlantis? Let us not repeat the mistakes of our past. Human beings are perfect when they are left alone in their natural environment. I pray today that we get closer to nature in the future and further away from this virtual reality. What are your thoughts? I really would love to hear from you guys. And please make sure to check out the full interview here. It's called Code Conference 2016, Elon Musk full interview on artificial intelligence, SpaceX, and Tesla. And even since I think this video or this interview was back in October of 2016, and it really took me some time to get through it, but it's super important, and we have to really realize that this is not a fantasy, this is not science fiction. Robotic cars already exist. Artificial intelligence already exists. Elon Musk is already sending SpaceX out all the time. In fact, I basically just typed in SpaceX as a search term on Google, and you can see that within just 24 hours ago or 48 hours ago, SpaceX launches and lands another rocket on February 19th. Then you've got a drone's eye view of the SpaceX's Falcon 9 landing, and it goes on and on and on. So he is actively sending these ships up into orbit. Now, one of the scariest things about the most recent cargo that Elon Musk was sending up into space with this Falcon 9 is that he had agreed to send a hazardous disease up into space with this payload. And this hazardous disease is one of the most dangerous of all. And they decided that they just want to take it up to space and just see what happens and see how it will progress or how they can cure it. Again, they're going up to space to try to cure a disease. But this is like an airborne virus. And if this airborne virus got into the wrong hands, it could mean a lot more problems than you would ever imagine. It's bad enough they chemtrail our skies. They put genetically modified ingredients into our food. But now, just some guy that has a bunch of money can just send up a communicable disease up in the air to see what happens. I mean, who is letting this happen? Who is allowing artificial intelligence to become a thing? Is it just however much money you have is enough to just create fake robots and fake people and create something that could possibly take over humanity? What is so wrong with human beings that everybody out there is trying to make us better or fix us or genetically modify us or say that we have to be like X-Men or superheroes all the time? That's not how we were created. It's the same thing with all of this weird gender misidentity that's going on right now. This is all about confusing people and taking them away from who they truly are in their core. It's about the disconnect from God. Every video I make, whether it's about robots or Mandela effect, or whether it's about history, it all comes back down to religion, God, and faith. And if so many people right now are angry about religion and faith, they need to take a look at that. I wake up every day to trolls that are unbelievable. And these are trolls that call themselves Christian, and they call me, you name it. I wake up to horrible trolls every single day because of the work that I do. And all that I'm really trying to do is help people. So if I say something that triggers you and makes you angry, like God is real, God loves you, you are a perfect child of God, and that makes you angry, you have to look inside yourself. I am not perfect. Sometimes I curse. Sometimes I get things wrong in my videos. Do you know why sometimes if I do a long video and maybe a picture is off or something I say is off or I get a note wrong? It's because I sit down and I just hit record. I'm just recording from a little audio device right now. Today I wrote an article, and sometimes I write an article, but I really don't pre-plan what I'm going to say. I sit down and I just speak from my heart. So I'm sorry if sometimes I make mistakes or I misquote a scripture or I say a bad word. I'm not perfect, but nobody is. That's the thing. But in God's eyes, we are all perfect. He created us exactly the way He wanted us to be. There is nothing wrong with us. There's nothing we need to fix. We need to just be happy with who we are and be happy with this beautiful planet that we have. No more space race, no more artificial intelligence wars. God is really powerful, and if the AI gets too big, do you think that He's not powerful enough to just reach His hand through the dome, the firmament of our reality, and just rip it out? Rip that D-Wave computer out of the wall? Just try and test Him. He created everything, and so He can also destroy everything. So think about this, you guys. We've been given a gift. We live on planet Earth. Regardless if timelines have crossed or this, that, or the other, or if this is all just a big experiment created by the fallen gods, the Anunnaki or the Nephilim, whatever way you want to put it, we're all here. So let's do the best that we can. Let's be as kind as we can to each other. Let's all try to live our purpose. And let's stop looking outside of ourselves for happiness and contentment. Because literally, we truly and honestly have everything that we need deep within us. And that's it. It's not complicated. You can watch any video I've made for the past 6 years on this channel, and they all start and kind of end the same, no matter what the topic is. You're not alone. You're loved. You're perfect. And seriously, nothing is that serious right now. No one needs to be fighting. No one needs to be in all this strife and grief. Wake up today, put on your favorite song, dance around, have fun, play with your kids, play with your animals, get off of the internet, and if you don't like the way the world looks, then do something positive to change it. Okay? So I love you guys ever so much. This was Stasha Erickson with the news that you need, because if they won't report it, then I will. If you'd like to support me, I have a website, StashaErickson.com, where I offer different services and books. And I also am featured on Patreon, which is patreon.com/Stasha Erickson. If you feel that this video or any of my other videos have helped you, you can go over to Patreon and pledge just $1, and you will have full access to all of the content that I have on Patreon, which includes most recent class on the Black Cube, Kaaba, and that kind of talks about the history of Christianity and the Muslim beliefs and the Mecca building in Saudi Arabia. I have a little intro video that I made where I explain a little bit more in depth about that, so I will try to upload that for you guys as soon as I can. But I love you all ever so much. Thanks for the support. Thank you to everybody that says kind words. If you're a troll, please don't bother leaving a comment, because I block every single one of you. I will not allow negativity on my channel. So it's really silly. Every troll I see has 0 followers, 0 videos, and just lots of attacks and mean words. And they call themselves Christians, and they tell me that I'm not, and they tell me I can't hear the voice of God, and all of this crazy stuff. You have to look within yourself. The #1 problem I'm finding with super Christian people right now is that they're super judgmental. They are judging everybody up and down, left, right, and center. I mentioned again about tarot cards really stemming from the Torah, and people say tarot is demonic, then you're calling the Torah demonic. If you don't believe me, do a little research. So please, you guys, don't attack the messenger. Do what you can today. Just sit and record and make a video that will help others. That's what I try to do. I've got 3 children. I've got a very busy life, and I'm under my own immigration problems right now, where I'm sitting here waiting for a yes or no for Norway to allow me to be able to stay and live with my family due to strict immigration laws here in Norway. So this is really all I can do right now. And people attack me for taking money for readings and taking money for services, and I mean, you name it. I've heard it all recently. And you know, this is what I do. This isn't something new. I didn't jump on the God bandwagon. I'm telling you, go back through my channel and check out how long I've been repeating the same thing about God. people say you used to be New Age and used to be this, used to be that. No, I didn't. Go back and look at the videos called is a channel mess. How do I know if a channel message is good or evil? Or check out my videos from 2012 or 2013 when I talk about the New Age deception, aliens, and the demonic agenda. Okay? I've got the research and the proof here on this channel. Check out what I've been saying. It's the same message over and over and over again. And if it's hard to swallow, that means that it's time for you to look within yourself. I am a messenger of God, and He wants me to help uplift and awaken as many people as we can, because we are in a time of judgment right now. And this is why you're seeing the world go crazy. It's not just America. I am subscribed to like every news channel in the world on YouTube. I don't watch regular television, and I scan the world media in different cities every day, in different countries all around the world. The whole world is being flipped upside down, and this is because we are in the judgment period right now. So pick a side quick and stick with it. Because this is it. This is real. Get real. Say sorry for things that you've done. Tell people you love them that you need to tell. All your unfinished business, finish it now. This is the time. No more laziness, no more excuses. Embrace your life and be grateful for it. And I love you all ever so much, and I will be back with more. I do love you all, and God loves you too. And He hasn't left you, and He's never, ever, ever going to turn His back on you. He just wants all of His children to remember Him and to come home.